Right, and after my apparent heady success this morning with the old phone walk around, I'm going to get really brave, and I've got the old Digicam out on a tripod in the front of the old rubber ducky. What could possibly go wrong? So again, this is the back top northeast corner where the old dead boat is, and we'll just spin round and just take a little paddle down the lake for the last time this week, being as how I'm off tomorrow and there's no wind, so I can't guarantee you will see much other than the lake from the water from the old paddler's eye view. A bit chilly this morning. Popped round to L'Evasion again this morning to see if Mark was about, the elusive Mark. Didn't see anyone, but when I got to the bottom gate, there was a bloody old Renault parked right in the middle of the gateway, so I couldn't get out. So I just sat there constantly tooting the old hooter on the car until I heard a bit of a shout and sort of like three Herberts with spinning rods pitched back up and got out the damn way. So they may have been the Herbos that have been cutting the little clearings, because they were fishing what used to be called the Great Lake, which is between us and the main road. But I could hear voices earlier. There was a bit of a conflab going on, so they was probably complaining about having their climbing over spot messed up. But you know, serves them right. It's not theirs anyway. There's plenty of open water around here. They don't need to be cutting their way and climbing their way into someone else's, that's for sure. So, a bit chilly. Anyway, don't feel like I've made a massive dent in the old chores this week, although I have done quite a bit. But every time you go out and have a look, all that seems to happen is you get another half a dozen jobs you spot. But you know, Rome wasn't built and all that. I've got to be a little bit mindful of overhanging trees, or I'm going to sideswipe the old camera on straight into drink. So I don't expect to see any fish up in the water this morning, because although it's still, there's no sun, pretty nippy, so there's no reason for them to be high up in the water. Because like I said before on the old walk around vid, all they're interested in doing at the moment is getting their body temperatures up so their metabolism kicks in. They can start getting some grub down them, ready for the old May shenanigans, which yeah, spawning time. So I'm just having a little patrol round, and I'll take you up into the shallow bit where I imagine spawning will take place. Now, we was there this morning with my phone, so didn't see much of it because it's really difficult to access from the bank. There's a huge section which is just completely overgrown, and you actually can't see any of it hardly from the bank, so it'd be a good opportunity just to have a little mooch down there while the wind's not blowing, and see what, if anything, is about. It was a bit of swan wars this morning. Another about half a dozen swans rocked up and landed. An old Captain Grumpy, the cob swan, he was straight at him, but I popped out just after that, and when I got now back on the water, there's all like feathers and rows of bubbles and churned up water and whatnot from where he's turfed them all off. I reckon that's where that saying comes from. He's a bit cobby. I reckon it is because of the old cob swans. They get so territorial. I mean, I guess they've got... No, they can't have eggs on the nest anywhere, because neither of them are ever on it. But unless they leave them all day and only sit on them at night time, it's a bit unlikely though, isn't it? Don't know. might have to do a little bit of research. So we're just coming down to the southeastern corner where the gate that we're currently using is, and what I'll do is look at all these trees we've got to clear out. Snag City, I mean, fish love them, but if we do end up having anglers on here, so many people are just shite and they fish against snags with a lot of clutches loose and the bait runners on and all sorts of things. I mean, I've done it myself at Redmere donkeys years ago when I bought my first pair of bait runners. I thought that's what you're supposed to do, leave them on, but like a div, ended up losing, I don't know, 3 or 4 fish in the course of an afternoon in the shallows where I've been there a couple of 3 times before that and not even had a bite, so that was gutting. But anyway, that in front of us there is the gap down by the gate we're using at the moment, and I'm just going to do a real nifty pirouette in a Venetian style and show you back up to the cabin there, the old Grand Chateau, back round slowly, and we have the wood point just there, and then this little herbert is the island where there's another muskrat family living. I see one this morning, unless it's not, it ain't that far away, you couldn't possibly swim over there and been munching on something, but I say there was a couple of burrows over there, whereas this one, I reckon they're living in the old tubes in the conduit and crap that's been left on the island from when it was gravel workings. But right, we're just going to head westerly now along the south bank, have a little perusal. So them lads were probably gutted. I reckon they all want to get in here after they've been across the Great Lake, but bugger them, you know. Got to let people know there's people about. I was a bit twitchy about it this weekend, because it's normally when the old hunters and poachers and fishermen are going to be about, of course. So I've got the old super deluxe bright Lenser torch in my pocket all night. Me whistle off my life jacket so that if I heard people or saw like flashes of torchlight or whatever, I could just give it a few blasts and wag on my powerful torch about and let people know I was onto them. But fortunately, quiet night, so yeah, there's a hell of a lot of concrete on this island. Again, I think that must have been used for some part of the extraction, because, you know, why would there be concrete otherwise? And there's some ducting and whatnot piled up. I don't know if you can see that, the old conch. But it's got to be a nice little fish finder, fishy feature, isn't it? I mean, every all the fish like an island. But anyway, back round again, and we'll continue in a westerly styly into the old shallows. Now, we're just coming up to, see where them ducks are just coming up. That's where the herberts have been in there, clearing that little bottom spit that I showed you on the walk around vid this morning. Another old, a steep muskrat slide there. I don't know, I'm just going to pan round and see if I can cop it in the old camera. Just there, see the old skid down, that's about a 5 foot bank there, and it's not quite vertical but nearly, so something obviously goes down there on its belly and straight into the old drink. But anyway, we'll carry on. So this in front of us now is the old infamous spit where the lads were clearing, and probably heading for actually. There's not a huge amount of room, so they haven't cut big gaps to set up cart rods or anything. I think it was them lads, you know, they all had a little 6 foot spinning rod each. It's probably ideal to have a quick flick around, try and get one of the pod pikes out. But it's not that they're doing a great deal of harm, it's just I don't like having people about, and you don't know how heavy-handed they are with the pike or anything, and you know, we need predator fish here and to be looked after just to keep the balance about right, you know. Not that I've seen a huge amount of evidence of small fish, but oh, let's just see if I can catch that. It's just a patch of fizzing coming up here. Oh, and it stops just as I get there. I'm probably overshooting it actually. But yeah, that's the old peninsula, and then there is the old birchwood. That's the old funny concrete pads which must have had another bit of plant on it. Some kind of conveyor belt maybe, I don't know. Don't know much about it. Don't know much about a lot. Anyway, we're turning this corner up here, and then we get into shallows. I say it's only about 2 foot deep, but I'm just going to point the camera down closer to the front of the boat because we might get something disturbed out of the shallow water here as we come round. It might not be enough, but if I do too much more, it's going to be a really dull view, so let's just leave it like that for a minute. Right, so there's another look at that island. Now, if I don't know if you can see, just in front of that, there's a light patch of water, and there's a dirty great chunk of concrete just below the surface, and a bloody great big machine wheel. So, oh, bugger, I meant to bring the marker sticks out so that I could drop them beside some of these booby traps, otherwise I'm going to end up having the propeller off the little rubber ducky outboard if I'm not careful. Yeah, so oh, I can hear Andy's quad now. So I've been all round his lake on the dirt track on the outside of the property. You can see him anywhere. But, I might light the bonfire later or spark up the chainsaw. That might let him know someone's about. He might pop round. Nice to see him. Apparently he's a nice chap. I'm trying to think where I got that from. I'm sure he is, but I think Steve said someone in the tackle shop would fished his lake. But yeah, Livasion it's called. But he's got a load of blue dye in the water to keep the weed down, and looks a bit weird actually. It's really, really blue. But I wanted to nab him because I wanted to find out how much his water level varied. So I might just get a splush here in a minute because I quite often make something jump coming through here. But so it is cooler today, so maybe there won't be fish in this shallow water today. Mind I don't get grounded here, it's super shallow. Just scrubbing the bottom. Right. And this bit here, if I pirouette round, is the other end of that spit where the old boys have been snipping out for lobbing a lure about. So let's just get a little bird, let's get a view of that from the water. And then I'll carry on up the Khyber, carry on up the bank. Yeah, so there was they've done quite a bit of work, bless them, to get it clear, but they ain't going to be able to use it all the time. They're not happy to climb over that big pile of thorns. Anyway, let's nip up here a bit more. So this is about 2.5, 3 foot max. But there's some nice big sedge beds up here, which I'm pretty sure is where they're going to be spawning later, about a month's time. We'll get right in the corner here, but you can see how overgrown the bank is. Hence, you can't even get to have a look from the bank, any of the bank yet. But I don't want to put too many obvious clearings on this bank side, trackside track, because you can see them from the access gravel road, and all these gravel roads all linked up to like farm tracks. Oh, there's the fucking owls. Look at the owl. 1, 2, 4. Did you see them? Bloody hell. Bloody hell. Shit. Another one, 5. Another one just gone out. Holy shit. Tawny owls, I think, but what? I've never seen, well, don't often see a group, but or single one, never alone bloody 5 again together. Must be a reason for that. Oh, that's cool. Little bit of excitement in amongst the old dull paddling around for you. So, I don't need to go right into this. I mean, I'm only about 20 yards from the end. So, yeah, how about that though? 5 bloody owls, it's weird. So, we'll just swing round. I've no idea how good this microphone for this camera is that I've just hooked up to it. So, I might be just, it's a good job it's not really windy because that's always shit then, isn't it? But, so, this is where I expect all the old jigging to be going on before long. Can you hear Andy's quad? Yeah. Maybe you can't, I can. So, heading northeasterly out of the lowest bit of the shallow bay. Just trying to keep the camera pointing a bit straight. Oh, bubbles, look, carp bubbles. I don't know if you can see them. No, probably not actually. I can't really do too much camera fiddling, but if I can hold the boat steady, might just be able to swing onto them. Where are they? I don't imagine that's going to show up there. Oh, there somewhere. Let me see. Maybe you could see that, maybe not. But anyway, let's sort of get a half decent view for you. And just deedle on. Oh, thank God it's not windy, it's brilliant. It's normally only one section of it you can have a proper look at any one time because the wind's been blowing a hoolie all week. What have we got for battery? Battery's looking alright. No idea how much of this is going to go on one card. Oh, I'll just show you. There's an old chitty tree just in there, and the old swan's nest is below, that's it. You might hear a splosh or a swirl even if you don't see it, because I'm quite close to the old sedges here and they tend to have the pike lay up tight against them, waiting to torpedo themselves out and grab some poor unsuspecting little herbert. But oh, it's really shallow here, I'll just doink the bottom with the paddle. Perfect though, it's going to warm up a treat around here, and looks like plenty of depth going back into these sedges for them to actually get done what they need to get done, which is cool. Yeah, look, there's another. Can you see the old? Probably not actually. Where's that tree? No, a bit too low, but the old big old swan's nests there. Anyway, let's turn around so I can see what sort of a view you got. Not much. So, we're just in sort of like the main bit of this southwestern bay. Just trickling, I don't know, about 8-10 metres off the bank. Just having a little looky-loo.